Joining me now from the Baltimore Ravens, AFC North champion Baltimore Ravens, a two-time champion of his own right in previous days, Kyle Van Noy here on the Rich Eisen Show. Good to see you, Kyle. How are you, sir?
Let's go, Rich. Hey, sorry
Right.
for the crazy hair. Thanks for having me on. Just got off the practice field, but I'm so excited to hang out with you for a
Thanks.
little bit, talk some football and talk whatever you like.
Well, I'm sorry for my hair, Kyle. You know,
Yeah.
actually, I'm sorry about my hair myself. But anyway, good to see you.
It looks good. It looks shiny.
You know what? It's all I got left. I'm out of moves.
Like,
You've won twice. You won twice with New England. Does this look like a championship team? Feel like a championship team to you, Kyle?
I mean, if I say no, I would be dumb, right? But I think we are. Like, we have all the pieces. It starts with the ownership. They do a really good job, and it goes all the way down to the players. We have the right players at the right time, the right coaches, and we're hungry. I think a lot of us experienced something last year that we don't want to experience again, and we're going to fight like hell to continue that path and to repent for our sins from last year. And then this new team that we have this year, make the most of it. Just so excited to be back in here, especially after the road that we have, starting 0-2, battling our way through the middle of the season defensively, not going as well as we wanted to early. And then, MVP Lamar having our back for a while till we could get things corrected and then taking off from there. And then finally look like a football team going into the playoffs, going against the Steelers, a friendly foe of ours. And it's going to be a good competition game. And we're excited to host them at the bank.
So let me take a better crack at the question. Instead of asking a yes or no question, how does this remind you of any of your previous championship seasons, Kyle?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think football-wise, it starts with the quarterback. You have an extremely good quarterback in Lamar Jackson, do it all. Obviously, he's running a little bit more than Tommy, but just a little bit.
Right.
But just the IQ of Lamar being in his second year of the system, being in control, taking the offense to new heights with his superstar next to him, Derrick Henry, leaning on that run game anytime you want. Derrick's been awesome for us, awesome in the locker room. I mean, he had his speech after our game, like it was time. And that's kind of the attitude we have. We're all hungry. The guys that we've come back on the team and the new guys we added were really hungry because we feel like we have a chance. And, defensively, we've gotten so much better. So you have the makeups of a championship football team. We just got to go put it out there and, play complimentary football and take care of the football.
Although I think Tommy, who you referred to, Tom Brady, would probably say to you, hey, he was the king of the sneaks. You know what I mean? Like he was getting
Yeah,
one.
you're right.
You know what I mean? The way that Lamar gets 50 in a chunk, Tom would get one in a chunk, man. Like,
Yep.
And he didn't need his tush pushed. You know what I mean? Like he
Yep.
would just get it himself.
Yeah.
Right?
And he would use his favorite his favorite code word was dog, dog. That's when you knew what it was. Dog, dog.
Okay. Well, that would have been information that would have been useful about 10 years ago for a lot of teams.
Yeah. Yeah. When he played at Tampa, we were waiting for it on every short yardage. We're like, are you going to say it or what?
That is funny. So obviously, the conversation around those parts, and you weren't part of these moments, Kyle, very much, but if at all, Lamar's struggles in his history of trying to win these playoff games, right? And he even said, he needs to be less hyped. He needs to sort of stay within himself. How has that guy shown his that style all year long? What can you tell me there?
I would say the word that comes to mind is poise. I think that's something he's worked on, continues to work on all the time. I think you've seen a lot of growth this year is the poise to stay in every situation, no matter what, good or bad. Keep that poise, not get too high, not get too low, stay in the moment. He's done a really good job of that. And I think just collectively as a team, we've all stayed better. We've learned a lot about ourselves as a team this year, just staying poised in crazy situations. I mean, we've had, I think, the hardest schedule in the NFL, and we've been beat up through it, like good and bad, right? You have good scars and you have scars that aren't so good, but they've made us mentally tough, mentally poised, and ready for this challenge of the playoffs. And we're only guaranteed this one game, and the Steelers aren't, some cakewalk. They're a really good football team, well coached with Mike Tomlin, and then Russ has done a really good job. And then defensively, you can't ever forget TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, and Cam Hayward. They've been holding it down there for a long time.
Yeah, I'm going through, and now that you just mentioned that, pardon me for not knowing this going in. Have you ever faced a team for a third time in your career? Obviously, well, you had a New England Buffalo game, right? In your playoffs, right?
That's a good one.
Because that ain't
no,
easy,
I think
right? That's not easy.
This might be the first time. You might be right. I think the year I was with the Patriots that I got traded to, 16, they played the Texans twice that year. So yeah, I would say this is the first time I've seen a team 3 times. That's a good stat. Shout out Rich right there.
Yeah, because I mean that's just not simple. And you just saw this team just a couple weeks ago. I mean, you saw them the game before, your Christmas game against Houston. So what is the challenge there for you? Because I mean, you kind of, I'm sure, is it the same? Like, hey, the way that you were going to attack Russ in this offense on that Saturday before Christmas, just run it back. So what you're
That's a good question. I think it's hard to even answer that, just because you are right. Like, there's not many things you can do differently, right? Everybody. It's just about execution in this game and who execute. Yeah, you might have some wrinkles in there, but at the end of the day, it's who is going to take care of the football, who's going to block and shed blocks better that day, tackle, all the things that you preach at a young age when you start football, tackling, blocking, catching the football. The basic fundamentals are going to show up in this game, especially when the other teams, their best players. They know your best players. They know how you try to create for their best. You create defensive mismatches. They know how to create offensive mismatches. And they'll tinker some things just like we will, and I think it's going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah, I know. It's not like Todd Monken's going to come to work and say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to run Derrick Henry this week, as opposed to last time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you are who you are, and they are who they are, and man, you guys just like swap and paint. Like, this is that type of affair, and the big boy pants have got to be on, and it's the Saturday night Prime Video. Whole country's going to be streaming this game, and
cold, snowy, AFC North football, man. Right. You're just painting the picture great. It's going to be clash of the Titans. It's going to be 2 great head coaches going against each other, 2 great teams going against each other, rivalry teams. There's just going to be a lot of energy in the building. The bank's going to be on fire. I can't wait to see what that atmosphere is going to be like, and just an intense game for the right to get access to your building the next week.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it right now, again, in your history. It does appear you have attempted to tackle Derrick Henry twice in the postseason in your days with New England. Yes. And I imagine you kind of dig being his teammate on moments like this. What's it like being his teammate right now, Kyle?
Man, I had one successful time going against him, and then I didn't have a successful time.
What happened? Did he stiff arm you? Did you get one of the famous stiff arms?
Just not me personally. Okay. Just it was a rough day at the office collectively. I think he rushed for like a 170 that game.
Yeah, it happens.
Man, it was brutal. But we're friends now. Me and Derrick, chuckle all the time about going against each other over the years. But I always tell him, man, it's good to be your teammate and not have to hit you during the cold weather games. And, he's a force. When he gets the ball, he's trying to pull the Marshawn Lynch saying. I won't say it because, the words I say, aren't profanity words, but you get what I'm trying to say. That's how he runs the football, with that tenacity, and it's tough during the cold weather games, and you got to see it for 60 minutes. And I think the Steelers are going to try to take on the challenge, and we're excited for that matchup, and Derrick's excited to play in that game. It's his first time playing in the playoffs in a while, so I know he's excited to play.
Yeah, I know. When you're trying to defend Derrick Henry, I guess, to use the Marshawn phrase you can use, it's tough to take care of your mentals, and you're thinking and you're thinking of your chicken making decisions, right?
Yeah.
When he's that's
and you got to run through a face over and over and over.
Walk me through Kyle Van Noy here. A few minutes left with the Ravens defender here on the Rich Eisen Show, and we'll get to you personally in a second. But what is it like, Roquan green dotting it up? You're hearing from him. There's Kyle Hamilton. You got to make a stop. What's it like for you to be a teammate? And I just mentioned two of your teammates. Obviously, you've got some terrific defenders around you. But what's that like, Kyle?
That's a good question. I feel like my job in that is to be the kind of the teacher out there, just to give reminders. Hey, if you see this, or Kyle, hey, if you see that, and then those two being the all-pro players, their communication's been amazing. The way that they've led our defense, and I'm just trying to be that calm presence when things might feel a little, not out of sorts, because they're never out of sorts. They're both very calm, cool, collective players. But when it's the heat of the moment, they can rely on me, that I'm going to be able to line up and stay calm myself and give them tips and reminders for, the end of the game situations, or in the heat of the battle when things are going fast. They can rely on me, that I'm going to know what I'm doing, and I can help them if they get in a pickle. So playing with those two players, though, is, I love it. They keep me feeling 21 myself, and it's just fun to go to work with guys who love football as much as I do.
And let's talk a little bit about your defensive coordinator, Zachary Orr. And I just love his story. Obviously, if anyone doesn't know, was a player. He, just like you. And one day he's told, hey, if you play another down, you might not live. That he had something going on with his spine. And John Harbaugh says, you want to stay in football? Let's have you as a coach. And he's now worked his way up to a defensive coordinator position. And I'm wondering how that story resonates with you and the rest of the players in his charge, Kyle.
Yeah, to add to the story, to make it even better, he was an all-pro player. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like he was a guy you can just say, hey, put another guy out there and he's going to be at that level or better. Like, that's tough to do. He was a very, very good football player. Very smart, very physical, fast, played with tenacity, and that's how he coaches. Fast, tenacity, like, he's ready to go at all times. Like, he gets the guys going every week, playing hard, playing fast, playing physical, and then he's able to add an element that some coaches may not have, and that's experience playing. And I think that's kind of something that sets him apart, is he understands situations. He understands putting himself out there, and when the game's on the line, what he's looking at, what can he pick up on, what does he see from that perspective, and then he leans on guys to communicate to him off the field, and he leans on coaches a lot, doing a great job of that. Great job of communicating. I always make fun of him because he's 1 year younger than me. And it makes me feel like not an old man, but it's just kind of funny how that works out as you get a little bit older in the league, that now I have a coach who's a D coordinator younger than me. But it's awesome, the energy he brings each and every day. And then it shows. Like, the prime example is when Adarius Washington makes that big play on 4th down on Christmas, and you see ZO fly across the screen over AD's head. It's just, that's the juice he brings. That's that, tenacity, and it's fun to play for somebody who loves football the way he does and is just ready to go at all times.
How does Michael Pierce take a knee, Kyle? What the hell, man?
I don't know. I want him to go all the way.
Well, what was that? What's he doing? I mean, this is his moment. This was
his moment. But I think it even created a bigger moment because of the slide. Well, I think that's what makes it even more beautiful.
I like that. But I want to see 345 go longer than just 1-2 step and slide. I mean, the slide wasn't artful at all.
I want him to do the Dion down the sideline to the
hold
touchdown.
It up. You want to hold it up?
We need a
what was that moment like in film study? What was that moment like?
I mean, the same reaction you got on the football field was the same reaction you got in the film room. Everybody stood up. It was awesome.
I love
MP, he's a great player, battled through an injury, was out for a little bit, come back, and then to help out the way he has, and then to have a play like that. I mean, that should be one of the plays of the year to be able to do that. I think he has more interceptions than some of the DBs around the league. So that's awesome.
And then last one for you again, it certainly in the perspective of your defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, where, the NFL can be taken away from you at the last second. You never expected. You're in year 11, Kyle, and you're not just in year 11. You just set a career high in sacks and tackles for loss and quarterback hits. You lead your defense in sacks. What do you owe this, Kyle?
I think it's mentality. My mentality is different. I'm kind of cut from the old school cloth of football. I played with a damn broken face for a while. So just that mindset of nothing, I'm just built different, and just believe that every day, that chip on my shoulder. I still feel like I'm got a lot to prove. I still feel like I'm that player being overlooked at Detroit Lions before I got traded. I'll never forget those moments and those times I had there, and I'll forever have a chip on my shoulder. Just felt like I've always been overlooked, and that's the kind of mindset I have each and every day, just that standard of excellence, and I'm always chasing to be great.
Wouldn't that be something if you see the Detroit Lions in New Orleans in a couple of weeks? Wouldn't that be something, huh? Full circle here?
See, now I gotta pull my old PR moves, right? I gotta say I'm just worried about this week.
I got you. One at a time. I get it. Normally I would not accept that as an answer, but I shall.
But it would be cool. It would be cool though.
I bet, because that means you're in the Super Bowl again, which I would be happy for you and everybody there in that great organization in Baltimore. Kyle, thanks for the time. Greatly appreciate it as you get ready for the Steelers. Good luck. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday night.
Thanks, Rich. You're the best, man. I'm glad you're doing good. You're the man.
Thank you. Right back at you. That's Kyle Van Noy right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.